All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome. Thank you so much for joining us. You are here live at the 2021 Brown ECTC tournament. This is the opening ceremonies, and to start us off today with our opening ceremonies, we will start with Master Chuang. Thank you, sir.
Hey, welcome everyone. I'm so excited to introduce the second tournament of the semester of the year, rather, at Brown University in Providence this coming Sunday. Whether you are a student who is competing, or you're a coach watching, or you're a parent who's kind of getting the lowdown on the tournament, I hope that you watch these opening ceremonies as both a chance to celebrate all of the hard work that went into this event, to anticipate the matches coming up, and also, most importantly, to learn about some important information for how things are going to go at the competition. I know that I just wanted to first off, just hats off to everyone involved, whether you were a tournament organizer or at the MIT tournament, a tournament organizer or a tournament staff or a coach or an athlete. It was just a tremendous, tremendous tournament. We had, I think in the end, well over 400 athletes there. I know for me personally, I really had no idea what to expect. We put that tournament out there. We thought we might get a small turnout, but it was quite the opposite. And then we also didn't know how the tournament would run with all the precautions and the new systems that we had in place. And it was a very, very, very high stress couple of weeks leading up to that tournament. I know that tournament committee co-chairs Tara Sarathi and Carissa Fu, as well as our tech chair, our technology systems chair, rather, Will Esty, were working really, really hard and losing a lot of sleep, and the stress level was up to here. I know we all kind of just took about a week to recover from that. So likewise, I know that for all of you, it must have been a very intense experience to be there and back in person competition. But what really I saw most of all was just a large expression of joy and happiness and returning to competition in the league. Next slide. So hey, I'm so pleased that yep. So we're going to talk about some opening remarks and then some other topics here, including COVID precautions and the tournament flow. But hey, we have 453 athletes registered as of a couple of days ago. So that is just a touch less than we had at MIT at this time. We'll see where the final numbers end up when we see who shows up on the day of competition. But we should expect a similar sized tournament to MIT. So that means a similar level of crowds, a similar level of complexity to the day. We didn't quite finish all the brackets like we warned you at MIT. The turnout was big. We had systems in place. We're doing bracketed Poomsae 3v3. That was a lot of firsts for us. And although we thought we might not even get to any of the semifinals, we were actually able to finish quite a few of them in addition to the quarterfinals. We didn't even know if we would finish those. So I really think the tournament committee hit it out of the park. We do want to move towards finishing all of our matches, obviously. So for this tournament, we've added an eighth ring. So we actually have about, a little more than 10% additional capacity for this tournament. So we do have an opportunity to finish it. But again, a lot depends on the particulars of the day, how the technology works out, how the computers work out, how the internet cooperates, how cooperative, especially all of you are in getting to rings. I thought the cooperation was excellent at MIT, but let's keep it that way. I know that we can't get complacent. I know we were all on our best behavior kind of at MIT, but we cannot go away from that at Brown. We really need to be on point. I think along those lines, during the earliest part of the days, we were really good about crowding. I know we had a whole other crowd on the other side of the venue in the food room, but as the day went on, it was inevitable that the crowd started to collect around the rings. We are going to try to minimize that again this year, this tournament. So do be conscious of that. We may be asking you to clear out. Please make that an easy task for us, not a difficult one. We really appreciate it. Another thing that occurred to me at the tournament was that probably more than half of that tournament was consisted of athletes for whom it was their first ECTC competition. So I think that's really a neat thing. But it also means that we're kind of always in the constant process of renewing our ECTC culture and values. And one of the things I really love about ECTC is that while things may get heated, at the end of the day, we're all on good terms and we all show good sportsmanship. I don't think that's changed, but it's a very intense experience. It's a lot of emotions to process. And if it is your first tournament, your athlete's first tournament, make sure you guide them through it. There were a couple of cases of, I'll just say, heated emotions from a few athletes on that day. And I think that's something we can improve on a little bit as we get back in there. But I think it was totally normal for that day. But just a reminder, especially those of us who are mentoring our younger athletes, have them prepare them for the way that we are expected to conduct ourselves at ECTC events. But again, I think we did really well for that day. We did track the scores. Those scores were emailed out to the league. If you're not on a league mailing list, but certainly reach out and register your team as a member school on the site. But we'll continue to track the standings throughout the year. Next slide. And just like we did last time, I wanted to mention that we are going to be requiring everybody to wear paper masks, which are shown to be much better than cloth masks. And really the minimum level of protection we're expecting is a 3-ply surgical or procedural mask, like the blue ones that we all know and love from hospitals and schools and that kind of thing, or a higher level of protection like N95s or KN95s or KF94s. So if you don't have those, we still have hundreds of masks left over that were not, we provided hundreds of masks last time and very few people needed them. But again, if you do need them, we're providing really nice KF94 structurally enhanced masks that, don't tempt into your mouth and all that kind of thing. So that's a really something we're providing for you as a league. Finally, I did just want to say before I turn it over to our next speaker, I just wanted to express gratitude to everyone. I think gratitude first off to the coaches and athletes in the league. I'm so impressed. I think this is the best league in the country, the best league in the world, in a lot of ways, in terms of culture, in terms of, what we do as athletes and coaches, and the fact that, I attended my first league tournament almost 30 years ago, and I wouldn't have dreamed that it would be going so strong, and the tournaments feel almost the same from 30 years ago, and that speaks to a strength of culture and character, and that is being passed down from generation to generation in the league. So kudos to you. I also wanted to say along those lines, thank you to all the tournament committee and the referees who really give their time. I know, again, in the heat of battle, it's easy to get irritated at, like these small inconveniences or a call that you perceive to be not the right call. But, please be grateful also in the other direction. I'm grateful for you all. I hope you're all grateful for everything that is being given by the staff. We're losing sleep and work hours and family time and all of these things to prepare for this tournament because we really believe in it. And it's 100% unpaid staff, always has been in our league, and that has not changed also for 30 years. So we're doing this for the passion for you, and of course to our host schools. Having just seen my students host a tournament, I know how much work and how much lost sleep and how many things just have to get done, and it's no one thing is impossible. But when you have your spreadsheet and it's like 60 things long and each one has a task by it, and the person has to do that thing, and someone has to tell the person to do the thing and make sure the thing gets done, it's the work seems infinite. So, and also a lot of lost sleep. So thank you, Cynthia. Thank you, Brown Taekwondo, for your hard work. Thank you, Master Park. I know that the last few weeks have not been easy for you, and this weekend will be even tougher on Sunday on you. And it's certainly no advantage to host a tournament. It's quite the opposite. So we really appreciate you and your long history in the league. So I'm going to turn it over to Cynthia Bui of Brown Taekwondo. Thank you so much, and have a great competition, everyone. I'll see you on Sunday morning.
Thank you so much, Master Chong. Hi, everyone. Good evening. My name is Cynthia Bui. I am the president of Brown Taekwondo, and I have a few last-minute announcements I'd like to present before we move forward with the opening ceremony. The first point is regarding parking, and especially in lot 89, please make sure you do not park in the facilities manager truck spots. These spots will be indicated with an arrow and the appropriate signage. As for overflow parking, that will be available on the street. We also apologize in advance for the number of restrooms. Alas, our facilities are a little bit older, and so in order to keep our tournament running, we do kindly ask that you allow referees and judges to use the restrooms first. We have a point regarding non-competitors. So all non-competitors from each school, spectators, volunteers, referees, and judges are required to fill out the volunteer and spectator form and upload a proof of vaccination, most likely your vaccination card, prior to the tournament. And as we will probably mention again in the opening ceremony, I'd like to reiterate this point of making sure to stay out of the competition area. This will be roped off if you are not actively competing, coaching, or refereeing. Once you are finished competing, please either return to holding or exit through the designated entrance and exit area via holding. This will be the only entrance to the competition area. And of course, we do have a layout of the event floor. There is an updated version, and that will be sent out in a league-wide email with all of the aforementioned notes. I guess my last point is I wanted to echo what Master Zhuang said. And on behalf of the Brown Taekwondo Club, I'd like to sincerely thank all of those who have made this tournament possible and extend my warmest welcome to all of our visiting competitors, coaches, officials, and volunteers. We look forward to having you all here this weekend. Thank you.
Great. Thank you, Cynthia. So I'm a ECTC TC co-chair, Tara Sarathi, and I'll go ahead and talk you through tournament flow and tournament layout for Sunday. So as you can see on the screen, we do have 8 rings this time, which is going to be super, super exciting. And hopefully they'll give us a much better shot at finishing the tournament this time around. And you can see there's like this red outline box for the rings. That red box outline thingy kind of represents the roped area of the competition area. So like Cynthia said, please, if you are not actively competing or coaching or volunteering for the tournament, please stay outside of that pink box in the spectator area or the teams area. Next slide, please. Yeah, so just because this is a super important point, I'll reiterate it one more time. If you're not actively competing, coaching, or refereeing, please stay outside that pink box that was shown on the previous slide. No food consumption will be allowed inside that competition area, inside that pink box. And lastly, spectators should be pre-registered on your team registration spreadsheet. And you should provide your proof of vaccination status, which was a survey that was sent out to the league earlier. Next slide, please. So division call times. These report times just indicate that these divisions will not compete any earlier than these stated times. But of course, your division could be called later than that time, depending on how the day goes. But just open it up. We'll start the day out with C Team Poomsae. That division is estimated to end right around 12:30 p.m. After the C Team Poomsae, we'll have A Team Poomsae. Call time will be around 8:30 a.m. You're estimated to finish around 1 p.m. And then B Team Poomsae report time is 10 a.m. with an estimated division end time of 1:15 p.m. In terms of sparring, we'll kick off with men's A team around noon. We'll end that division around 3:30, regardless of where it is in the bracket. Men's C team call time will be around 12:15. We'll promptly end that division around 5 p.m. Again, regardless of where you are in the bracket. Followed by women's A team, call time will be 1:45. We'll end that division around 5 p.m. Women's C team, call time is 3:15. We'll end that division around 7:15. Women's B team will go before men's B team. So the call time for women's B team will be 3:15. We'll hope to end that around 7:15. And lastly, men's B team sparring. Report time will be 3:30. And we're hoping to finish that right at the 7:30 rule of 7:30. So next slide, please. Tournament flow is pretty much going to be the same as with MIT, but just a reminder, especially for those of you whom this might be your first tournament this season. For Poomsae, report times will be emailed out as well as shown on projectors throughout the competition area and through a PA system. But the best way to understand if your match is being called to holding is to check your email. So we highly recommend everyone has your phone or an internet capable device. They're able to check your email for when matches are called. Once your match is called to holding, you're allowed to proceed to the competition area and to the holding area within the competition area. Once you're in holding, holding area manager is going to come and will let you know when you have a ring assignment and when you can go to staging. So there'll be 2 areas in holding. You'll have holding and then staging, which is essentially double deck. You're about to go on deck. So after athletes report to staging, a ring runner will take you from the staging area to on deck chairs that are located next to the ring. Once you're there, you'll wait for the match that's currently going to finish, and then you can step onto the mats. You can compete. After competing, you'll exit the competition floor area through the dedicated exit area, which I believe Cynthia said there's only 1 entry and exit point in the competition area. And then if you advance, once again, I just highly recommend that you keep checking your email, keep your ear open on the PA system for when your next match number will be called to holding. Next slide, please. So the sparring tournament flow is pretty much almost exactly the same as the Poomsae tournament flow. The only differences are highlighted in orange here. And that is when your team is called to holding and you come to holding, holding area manager will perform a gear check for you before you're advanced to the staging area. We do ask that all teams come, when you come to holding, especially for sparring, you come with all of your gear and all of your teammates, as opposed to having one team and one item of gear reporting to holding. So please make sure your complete team and all of your gear comes to holding. From there, a ring runner will take you from staging to a dado table to get an e-hogu for sparring. After that, again, you'll go to on deck chairs. Your athletes compete. You'll compete. After you compete, before leaving the competition floor, we ask that you return your hogus to the dado table and that you wipe down your hogus for the next competitors. That is about it for sparring tournament flow. Next slide, please. So yeah, just want to reiterate, check your email throughout the day. That's going to be your best way of being notified of if your match is called to holding. Like I mentioned before, we will have projectors throughout the competition area for you to check your match status. Also, we'll post live updated brackets online on our ECTC website. And yeah, this is what you'll be able to see on the projectors that are shown throughout the competition area. So you'll have your match status, and you can see if your match number is either competing, if you should be on deck, in staging, or in holding. Next slide, please. And then this is the live updated brackets that you'll be able to find on our ECTC website. Next slide. Just a few other important reminders. For Poomsae, there'll be a monitor at the ring. We ask that once your Poomsae team steps up to the ring, since competitors are randomized in your 3v3 version, we ask that you check the monitor to see who you're going to be competing against before you line up. For sparring, again, I'll reiterate this point again because it's super important. When your team is called to holding, please make sure that your complete team comes to holding. And if it's sparring, all of your sparring gear comes with you for holding. And when you finish your competing, we ask that you please leave the competition area. And last point, which I have not yet mentioned, is that we do require corner judges and league volunteers throughout the day. So if you're not competing and can volunteer, please come see me at the head table. The next slide. A couple of other announcements is if you need dado socks, we will be selling Gen 1 dado socks for $40. You can come see us at the head table in order to purchase them. And lastly, we will, just like at the MIT tournament, we will not have an official closing ceremony. So once you're done competing, you can come up to the head table and we can give out any medals if you earn a medal. And if you earned a team trophy, we can give out a team trophy then as well. I believe that should be it. So I'm going to hand it back to Master Chong for some closing remarks.
No, hey, thank you for that. We have the black belt meeting in about 10 minutes. For those of you who hopefully you should have gotten that link over the league email list too. But again, thank you, Master Sarathi. That's just a tour de force of organizational work for this tournament. I know firsthand how I've seen firsthand how hard you've been working. So hope you get some rest after this event. And likewise, everyone just travel safe to the event. Please travel responsibly, especially if you're driving. Take lots of stops. There's no need to be heroes and get here, in lightning record time or anything like that. And we want everyone to have a safe journey both to and from the tournament. All right. Safe travels, everyone. And I'm not going to declare the tournament open, obviously, but I look forward to seeing you all on Sunday morning. Take care.